environmental educator as well. And I've also, for 28 years, been involved in shaman experiences throughout the world. And in those experiences, I've learned a great deal about how to interact with nature. And during these 28 years, I've used a shamanic experience. First, let me describe what that means. A shaman is a man or a woman who understands the language of nature and is a self and community healer. And I worked on the opposition to the Shore nuclear power plant issue. And during that time, resolved that issue by living in my car for 55 days between January 31st of 1989 and Easter of that year. It was a trial, very difficult. It was very cold, but every day I sang a particular chant that I know, and I called forth the spiritual energy of the land there so that we might be able to resolve the Shore nuclear power plant issue. I did something similar during the Brookhaven National Laboratory issue in 1994, I believe it was, where I fasted for 35 days during that time. Once again, calling on the spirit of nature to help resolve that issue. And during the Broadwater issue, where the Broadwater liquefied gas plant was going to be placed in Long Island Sound, I lived for 35 days on the shoreline of Long Island Sound, calling on the energy of the sound to help resolve that issue. And so there are times, and this is one of those times at Southampton College now, that I call a shamanic moment. And that is a moment of crisis. There's a saying among indigenous people that crisis is the shaman's horse. It is the exact moment that miracles can happen. And the energy that is here at the present time can be transformed from something that appears to be negative into something that is beautiful, positive, loving, and joyful. So I am here, first of all, to honor the spirits of this land. They are ancient Shinnecock spirits, and also to call on the spirit of nature here to help resolve this issue so that we can not only save the college but renew it. And what I mean by that is all environmental issues are symptoms of a far deeper issue, and that is the human separation from the rest of nature. That is a spiritual issue. And so my being here also teaches the students about how one can interact with the natural world, calling forth the spiritual energy to help resolve issues. And that is true sustainability. Without that, we will never have sustainability. The first step to sustainability is raising our consciousness to once again renew our relationship with everything else in nature. And when we make that deep connection, the energy created is so powerful that it will help these young people and the rest of us take the action that's needed and have the commitment that's needed to change consciousness so that we could finally save the human species. We're not here to save the earth, we're here to save us. And we better understand that fairly quickly or our species is not going to be here very long. So with regard to the Stony Brook Southampton issue, when I came here, I'm staying here for 4 days and 4 nights, holding fire ceremonies with the students each evening. And then on sunrise, May 14th, we'll do a sunrise ceremony. And I have some tobacco, natural tobacco, that was blessed in the Shinnecock ceremony that I was in. And we're going to sprinkle it all around the perimeter of Southampton College. Our love will be planted in this land so that whatever is going to manifest within the circle here on this campus is going to be a manifestation of love. And so this new school that will come to the fore here will provide that beautiful manifestation that we all seek. And so part of why I'm here also is to be a living witness to the commitment of loving the land, so that everybody working on this issue can be exposed to that and call forth the best in themselves, so that we can resolve this issue at the highest level of consciousness and do the best that we can do as human beings here. And we're gonna light this fire in a special way. And the easiest way for me to get the point across is to tell you this story. And it's a really very great privilege for me to tell this story. It's about a Navajo shaman. I'm going to use the word shaman. And a shaman is a man or a woman who understands the language of nature, is deeply related to, so deeply related to nature that he or she could understand what's being said by everything in the natural world. And these people are also self and community healers. They're able to transmit the energy from the natural world through their body into other human beings, and they could cure and heal all kinds of illness. So this man, Starman, was a Navajo Indian shaman, and I met him in 1992 in Mattatuck, New York, where he had come with his grandson, who was leading a ceremony for us. Now, most of these ceremonies take place overnight. They're very, very grueling ceremonies. They're very difficult. And one of the reasons why that is that when you get tired, your defenses begin to fall away, and we're more vulnerable than we would otherwise be. So, at any rate, we did the ceremony, and then all night on Friday, and then on Saturday afternoon, he said that he would like to do a healing ceremony, and 6 of us took part in that ceremony, and I'm going to explain to you what he did. But after we did the healing, he then said to his grandson, he couldn't speak English, he only could speak the Navajo language. He said, "I'd like to tell them how I got my power." And this is the story that he told. He said that when he was in his 40s, he was very sick, and he was so sick that he said to his wife and his parents, "Can you please take me to the medical center?" Now, they lived near Shiprock, New Mexico, on the Navajo reservation, and a native person would never ask to go to the medical center unless they were desperate, because they're ill-treated. They're discriminated against. They're treated horribly. So it's not something that would be a first choice. So they go to the medical center, and the doctors check him out, and they come back to him, and they say, "Well, not only are you very sick, you're going to die very shortly. You're going to die in a couple of days." So he said to his wife and his parents, "If I'm going to die, I'd like to go home to our hogan." The Navajo live in an 8-sided structure, residence called the hogan, fireplace in the middle, and a smoke hole into the roof. So they go back there, and they're going to do this ceremony, a Native American church ceremony, which was part of their culture. And the first thing they did was they lay him down because he wasn't feeling well, and then they made a fire in a sacred way. They made a sacred fire, and that's the fire we're going to make here this evening. And what I mean by that is, in our culture, we're doing 9 different things at one time. We're never really focused on one thing or total intention. Well, they were going to ask this fire for something special. So they were totally focused on, each piece of wood and placing it very gently and in the fireplace, so that the fire could be made as perfectly and in as sacred a manner as possible. So they make the fire, and they get him up, and he kneels in front of the fire, And in that ceremony, there's a certain medicine or sacrament that they use, and he prays into the fire, or he puts his intention into the fire, however you want to see that,